Hey, what to do, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Just having a great day. So we're gonna kind of circle back today. We're gonna go back to what a lot of my videos used to consist of. We're gonna be working on the shop on the Polaris Ranger, which used to be the lifeblood of the ranch. This thing was just our workhorse. Every day this thing's moving hay. We just loved this thing. Now, if you guys are observant, you guys notice that we have this beautiful piece of plastic in my hand that is actually caked in dirt. I mean, just awful. Now this piece of plastic right here is actually part of the air intake box, which decided to break. And as you guys can tell, it has been broken for a very, very long time. So I do have a brand new one of those, and they're not super cheap. They are not super expensive, but we have much bigger problems because that broke. There is a ton of dirt inside the engine. So anyways, we are going to be diving into this thing today. We're going to be taking off pretty much the entire top portion of the engine. I'm pretty sure the valves are going to be just trashed. The valve seats, cylinder walls, who knows? You guys are going to find out with me. I'll go ahead and show you guys the fresh new air intake box that we got right here. Hopefully it lasts a little bit longer than this one does. I don't know why it would crack. I still can't wrap my head around that. Anyways, that's what we got going on in today's video. As always, there may be something else that makes its way into this video. Like, hopefully we can get this thing at least running. It can't be any worse than it was. And then if I do get it running, we're gonna go ahead and clean this bay out. I'm about to drop a bombshell. If we can get this thing out of here, I'm gonna pull the Peterbilt in here. We're gonna start detailing it, and then it's going up for sale, guys. It's gone. It's time to move on from trucking. We're going cattle ranching, full speed. We're gonna try and convert the shop in a couple different ways. We've got the big project up front. Got some major changes coming to my lifetime, and I'm really nervous about it, but I think it's the right thing to do. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's go and jump on into it, and let's roll. Yeah, I don't know what that's from, but I don't like it. You guys probably have kids working for like 5 minutes. I think that's down. Alright, well the fan just turned off. Check engine line just turned off. So that's a good sign. Alright, so you get when you roll through your actual phone settings, we're gonna go ahead and try and fire this thing up now that we got the spark plugs in there. You guys can see that we have made a mess from the consistent trying to start this thing over and over and over again. I'm not sure what just happened. So not that I'm super nervous to like dive into this, but my experiences with engines like this are actually pretty limited. Small block Chevys, big block Chevys, Cummins, I can work on those in my sleep. I used to have a pretty gnarly R1. I was pretty good on that. But as far as engines like this, I've never really had one apart. So you guys are gonna be learning with me. To start off with, we got a couple more plugs we gotta take off. I'm assuming that's coolant. That's gonna have to come out too. Spark plug boots. Oh, come on. Get off of there. Give me 1 second. Okay, got those out. Looks like we just have 4 Torx heads that hold this valve cover on. We'll go ahead and, I'm guessing it's gonna be this one. Nope. All right, let's see if they're super cranked down. Not too bad. Left hand for the win. Also, I know there's about to be some pretty harsh judging. Oil changes were kind of not performed regularly on this thing. Not as often as they should have, so this engine may be very brown on the inside. And we will see that here very shortly. We got the screws all loosened up. Let's go ahead and give this thing a couple taps, break it loose. There we go. Oh. I'm gonna use 2 hands to try and salvage that gasket so I don't rip it. Let's see, give me 1 second. All right, well, we've already got one sign of something that's kind of uncool. I've never had this valve cover off, never ever, not once. And as I'm looking right here, we have this little tiny piece of shaved something right there. Not cool. I don't know if that's a shim. Yeah, I don't know what that's from, but I don't like it. Anyhow, we're gonna go ahead and keep on diving into this because, like I said, this is gonna have to be cleaned out. And the only way to do that is gonna be taking the head off. All right, so struggling a little bit to get these exhaust manifold bolts off. These two that are tucked back in there are not very easy to get to. That one's kind of a booger too. I went ahead and brought over some just plain Jane Allen wrenches. I was trying to do it with this one first, that didn't work. Now we got this swivel one right here. It's just not going my way. So we're gonna go ahead and try, see if these ones fit. Nope, too big or too small. There we go, we got a winner. Let's see if we can get this thing to pop loose. Man, that bolt is really in there. I don't think Allen wrenches are supposed to have a twist like that to it. I'm not sure how well that's gonna pick up on camera. That thing is really in there. So now I'm kind of leaning towards leaving them on there and actually just disconnecting those two bolts back there, and when we take the head off, we'll just bring the whole manifold with it. All right, we got the top one out, and they definitely put the heat shrouds in a spot that make it not easy to do this, but you guys can see we got the Milwaukee ratchet on there. That makes it a little bit easier. All right, there is spring number 2. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start taking apart everything that's inside right here. This is probably the tensioner right here, if I had to guess. Kind of looks like, oh, almost just lost those, whew. Anyhow, we got our parts bag right here. We're gonna go ahead and start taking everything off. I don't know how to find top dead center on this yet. It's not gonna be the end of the world, but that's something that's very crucial. Also, I may just mark the chain and the timing gears if there's not any other marking on there, but usually they have like a little indicator on them somewhere. So we'll go ahead and start taking all this apart though. All right, so we got the first 2 head bolts right here. Drop them in this bag. Guys, this is why you have kids working with you. I've been looking for this thing for like 5 minutes and he goes, oh, I think I found it. And it was like tucked up underneath. So I'm gonna go ahead and probably put the camera down and just get to work. I just took the bolts out of the tensioner right there. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this thing out. But we're just gonna keep taking everything apart. And then once we have it all apart, I'll go ahead and show you guys. And the main reason I'm actually doing that is because my battery is about halfway dead already, and I don't have any more with me today. How hot it is today, I'd already gotten literal drops of sweat into the engine, and then to top it off, just sliced my thumb open. Not sure how well that's gonna show up on camera. So we got the blood, we got the sweat. Something might happen where we get some tears in there, but not sure. Anyhow, we are making good progress. I know I picked up the camera sooner than later, but we're pretty much about there. We just gotta take out that bolt. Actually, we might, yeah, those have to come out for sure. Then we have the head bolts in there. And I think this should just lift off. All right, so when you take off a cylinder head, there's a couple things that are normal to see. Soot sometimes is a little bit okay. You don't wanna have like too much of a buildup. But dirt is not one of those things. And as you look inside here at the cylinders, they're pretty dirty. There's literally dirt sitting on top of the piston in there, which is not okay. That is not a good thing, but they're not broken. They haven't like exploded. The cylinder head, also not in great shape. The valves are pretty dirty. But circling back to the air intake box, this little bracket that you guys see that's broken right here, that's part of it. I still can't figure out how that happened, because this is such like a secure little area that nothing should be able to get in there to actually break it. So I don't know. I don't know how it happened. I'm not gonna get too frustrated about it though, because it already happened. So we're gonna go ahead and get this all vacuumed up. We're gonna get it cleaned up. We're gonna start to clean that out a little bit. And I think I may, I'm hesitant to rotate the engine because that cam gear and the chain is still where it was in relation to the cylinder head and the timing gears up top. You guys, we might be in luck. I'm on the phone with Motor World right now. They think they have them in stock. So he's gonna go get his hands on them right now. Cross your fingers.
Okay, so I only have the base gasket.
Oh, dang.
Sure, let me see if that's one nearby for you. What bike center has 5 of them?
Where's that? Which one's that?
Then it's in Prairie Villa Road.
Okay.
Fun Bike Center.
All right, I will give them a call just to super make sure.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
You guys hear that? You gotta go to Fun Bike Center now.
Fun Bike Center, how may I direct your call?
Can I get the parts counter, please?
Yeah, of course, one moment.
Polaris, Arctic Cat, Can-Am, Kia Photo, Honda Power Equipment, Kawasaki, Sea-Doo, Stark. Thank you for calling yours. How can I help you?
I got a 2017 Polaris Ranger XP, and I just wondering if you guys have a head gasket for it.
Yeah, I have a few of those.
Okay. What time do you guys close?
Over here. Thank you for that.
Okay. I'll be on my way. Thank you. Bye. Woo! On our way. Fun Bike Center is not close to where we're at though, so I do have to get going if I'm gonna get there before they close. This has to be the absolute worst Allen wrench I've ever seen. It just keeps twisting in every way, shape, or form. All right, so I finally got the new valves. Took a couple days to get here, but we got them. And I'm actually gonna be trying something new today. I realized in the last video that I put together, my sound quality, anytime that I would flip the camera around, it would get pretty bad. So I went ahead and picked up some wireless mics. We'll see if they make a difference. But we're gonna go ahead and finish getting this thing cleaned up. You guys can see we've been going through the brake clean quite a bit. We've got them almost clean. Well, not really actually. We got a long ways to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the camera down and we're just gonna start getting this thing all nice and clean. And then we're gonna have to lap these valves to basically get a good seat again. I think I have some lapping compound. I hope so. But anyways, it's gonna take me a minute to get this thing ready and then we'll go ahead and put the valves back in. And on my little short video that I put together, I was showing you guys this thing right here. Super awesome. I've always wanted one of these, but I've never done an engine small enough to require one of those. So I went ahead and picked this one up off of Amazon, Orion Motor Tech. I think it was like 25 bucks on sale. Works pretty good. I'll put a link down below if you guys want to check it out. Pick one up. For those of you who did not see the short that I put together, these valves are smoked. They just are super, super bent. They are definitely not supposed to look like this. They're supposed to be straight up and down. So that is in large, probably where the ticking was coming from and ultimately why it stopped running. So let's go ahead and get this thing all cleaned up and we'll get it put back together. So we are officially on the putting back together side of things. You guys can see how we have all the intake valves right here and that they actually close. Before, with the intake valves that were in there, there was a huge gap because of how bent they were and it was not getting a good seal. And one other thing that I did not show you guys on camera, you do need to lap the valves, which basically there's like a little compound that you put on there and basically rotate them so it kind of creates like a nice smooth surface for the valves to actually seat and create a good seal. So next up, we are going to be using our fancy new clamp that we got right here. And this one requires both hands. So I'm gonna go ahead and set the camera down and show you guys how to do this. So putting the valves in is not really that hard. Basically all this does is keep constant pressure on this side. So as you are pushing down on this side, you're able to get that little plate to go farther back. And then you have these little keepers that, these ones are pretty small, but they're gonna go in there and then basically you relieve the pressure off. And once the pressure's off of it, the pressure from the spring is actually gonna hold these little tiny guys in place. But definitely gonna need both hands for that because they are small and a lot of room for error right here. So I know they did send us with new ones of those and those are in this little bag right here. So it's gonna be pretty hard to pick up on camera, but I don't know if you guys can see it. Basically that little tiny keeper pin right there needs to be below this little notch that's on the valve right there. And as it comes up, it's just gonna force its way in there. And that's what's gonna keep that in place. So when you get one fully completed, that is what it should look like. Got those little pieces in there nice and tight. So it took me way longer than it should have, but we got it in there. And then basically, once that's on there, this is the piece that goes on top of it like so. We'll push that down a little bit later. But basically the camshaft just pushes down on that, and that's what opens and closes your valves. So I got the head all back together. All the valves are in place. We got everything all put back together on this side. Is it 100% perfect? Probably not. But I guarantee it's 1,000 times better than it was. So the next thing that we got up on the list is before we put that thing back on, we got to go ahead and clean the pistons up a little bit because they are also super, super nasty. So we're going to be using a little bit more brake clean. I got some wire brushes. We're just going to try and clean it up a little bit. So I have officially formed my opinion on what caused the valves to bend on the Polaris engine. You guys can see that we have one piston that's really clean right now. I've spent the last 5 or so minutes cleaning it. Then we have that one that is super filthy. It's got all the gunk and the grime from the broken intake manifold, which still, well, it's got all the gunk and the grime that got sucked in through the broken intake manifold, which still blows my mind. But regardless, what I think happened is on top of the piston, it just kept building up with more gunk, more grime, more dirt, kept coming up and up and up. And as you guys can see, the piston actually has these little pieces right here that have been machined out. And those are for, well, at least I think so, as the pistons, and what those are for, at least what I think they're for, is as the piston's coming up, it still allows the valve's time to be closing as the piston's almost to the very top. So I could be wrong on this one, but I think those little pieces are machined out of there, so as the piston's coming up, the valves can still be closing. Now the tolerances are going to be super, super close. I mean, we're not talking a whole lot right there. So if those little voids got filled up with dirt and grime, I mean, we're talking even like 1/8 of an inch. As they're coming up, they're going to push on those valves. And I think that's what happened. Because as you look right here, you guys can see that the dirt's been kind of pushed into it a little bit. It's really hard to pick up on camera. But I'm about 95% sure that's what caused it. So we're going to go ahead and get these cleaned off again. I got the top surface almost all the way clean, ready for the new head gasket. So I'm going to spend a couple more minutes cleaning. Then we got to go ahead and drop that new head back on there. So I had really been hoping to get this all put back together tonight. I don't think it's going to happen because I got something that I got to get ready for here in a little bit. So I think what we're going to try and get done tonight is get this cylinder head back on there. We got this fancy AC Delco RTV engine sealant. We'll be putting it on both sides of this head gasket. We'll be setting it down there, and then we'll go ahead and torque this thing down. And then I think we're going to go ahead and put both camshafts on too. And if we can get that done, I think that's a good stopping point. So let me go ahead and put the goop on, and I think we're just gonna set it up on a time lapse. So I can be a little bit on the efficient side and try and get this thing cranked out. When you run out of luck, need to get unstuck, so go off. When you're up against the wall and you cannot fall, so go off, go off, go off. Go off, so go off, go off, go off. Go off. When you're running out of luck, need to get unstuck, so go off. When you're up against the wall and you cannot fall, so go off, go off, go off. So go off, go off. So we got the head on there, it's snug down. It is not torqued yet. So for everybody that saw my little YouTube short, the offer still stands. If we gain 10,000 subscribers from the time that I posted that last short, I will give away this sweet torque wrench, which is like the Mac Daddy of 1/2-inch torque wrenches. I love it, it's super rad. It's really easy to use. I'm gonna show you guys some of the cool features of it right now. Hopefully I'm able to do it from far away, we'll see. But basically, you guys can see you have your little display gauge right there. You basically just go up or down with your torque setting, and I need to see the torque sequence on this real quick, because there is a specific way that you need to do it. I don't know what that is, so let's see if I can get it real quick. Oh, and it tells you how far you go, which is really cool. So right now, we're at a little over 10. You don't even have to adjust it really. You can just go until it says 10. Okay, there's 9. This is like the coolest wrench ever. Yeah, there's 10. I'm gonna go ahead and bring the camera over here so you guys can see exactly what this wrench does. It's so cool. All right, so as you're getting closer to your actual torque setting, you guys are gonna see it light up. Shows you where you're at. You guys can see those orange lights starting to get closer and closer to where you wanna be. Come back up, keep cranking down. We're gonna go to 29. Oh, I meant 26. So here we go. You guys are gonna see it go up. Getting close. There we are. Okay. All right, well, I got wrapped up everything that I had to do down there. In typical James fashion, I got to work, and we actually have a lot of it put back together already. We're kind of on the wrapping up phase of things, and we're about to start replacing the piece that was originally broken, which was the intake manifold. And all these sensors have to hook up to it. So we do have the Freshie, where did I put that thing? Oh, yeah, it's right here. So we do have to take some stuff off of the old one, get it all swapped over to this one, then we can go ahead and mount it on the engine. I gotta get this little guy to bed. He's getting a little bit on the sleepy side. You wanna be done?
Yep.
All right, let's see. This is legit gonna be the first time that I've tried to start it. Let's go ahead and get some of this stuff out of the way. What do you think, yes or no?
Maybe.
Maybe? I'm feeling optimistic. All right, well, the fan just turned off. The check engine light just turned off. So that's a good sign. Here we go. Oh, you might want to move. It might shoot exhaust right at your face. Yeah, why don't you just come up here by me? Come on. Oh, sound like we got a dead battery. Ah!
Well, the lights are working. Yay!
Man. All right, well, we're gonna have to come try it again tomorrow. We got it on the trickle charger. Should be charged up in the morning. Oh, we're so close. We're so close. I think it's gonna go. It's been sitting for probably 8 months. So anyways, we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. All right, so as you can probably tell, that little DeWalt charger is just the absolute worst. It was on the thing all night, didn't do anything. So we got the GMC hooked up to a set of jumper cables. It's cranking over right now. I kind of think it has old gas in it. It wasn't firing. I just sprayed some starter fluid in there and it did pop off a little bit. So I'm gonna double check a couple things real quick. As I was laying in bed last night, I had a couple thoughts come to my head. So I'm gonna go over a couple things real fast and then we'll try and start it again. All right, so the Polaris is continuing to give us problems. We got Josh over here helping us. And he brought up the point that on my videos, it looks like I know what I'm doing. A lot of times I don't, guys. We're just going for this. We've probably had this thing apart, I'd say 5 or 6 times now because we just can't seem to get it right.
Show them the cam alignment tool.
Yeah, this is, where'd it go? Oh, right here. This is our fancy cam alignment tool that we've been using for these little notches back here. But I think we finally got it where it needs to be. I don't know. We're gonna go ahead and wrench it over one more time. I went ahead and put the spark plugs in there because I may have done it incorrectly the first time and destroyed the valves that we just put in there. So we'll see if it has compression right now. We'll see if we hear any hissing. No, I hear some hissing. That's a good sound. Not sure which cylinder that was. Yeah, at least one of the cylinders has compression. Think it'll be enough to work? Yeah, both are hissing.
It feels hard, huh?
I think we're good. We may have unbent valves, which would be a good sign. So, I think we're gonna go ahead and try and start this thing. All right, here we go. Let's go. Oh, I heard something. I hear gas. So we've been chasing our tails trying to figure out why this thing wouldn't spark, why it wouldn't do nothing. And the reason that it was not sparking is because the crankshaft position sensor was unplugged. I don't know when I did that. Josh is the one that found it. So after chasing our tails for 20 or 30 minutes, I mean, we had this whole thing like all cleaned up. You guys can see we cleaned up all the wires right here, good connections, checked all the fuses, ended up just being a connector that was not plugged in. So we're gonna go ahead and drop these in here, put them on the spark plugs, and we're gonna see if it starts. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and try and fire this thing up now that we got the spark plugs in there. You guys can see that we have made a mess from the consistent trying to start this thing over and over and over again. But now that we have this cover on there, hopefully it'll not do that. But now it's time for the moment of truth. You ready? All right, hit it. Oh man, she lives, guys. And I think we're gonna go ahead and shut it off because not a whole lot of oil in there, but it lives. The Ranger lives. Good day. I'm super excited right now. Well, huge thanks to Josh. I'd probably still be chasing my tail right now if he hadn't found that plug. But now it's just it's the easy stuff. We got to put all this back together. Thank you, sir.
Reassemble, clean it up.
Yep. Then after that, we got to pull the Peterbilt in here. But that's another story for another day. Let's go ahead and get everything put back together. We do have some maintenance that we're gonna have to do on this thing as well. I'm gonna top it off with oil right now. We'll probably run it for just a little bit, and then I'll do an oil change on it, new filter, new air filter, all that good stuff. But for right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and get everything put back together. We'll do a couple test laps around the property, and good day, good day. I'm so excited right now, guys. All right, well, maybe we will be getting a new air filter today. I did not think that I had one, but we got a freshie right out of the box. So we go ahead and swapping those out. All right, well, she is all back together. I just got to get the 299 down here because I have a Gannon that's in the way of me backing this thing out of here. Obviously, I'll get my pickup moved out of the way, but we're gonna go ahead and let it start up. I'll let it run for a minute, and then we'll take it for a little test drive. It does sound really smooth though. I don't hear any ticking, which is great. And yeah, I'm thinking it's gonna be okay. Guys, I'm so pumped to finally be able to drive this thing. That electric golf cart that we have, it was nice, but the Ranger is just like the king out here. The terrain's kind of rough and it's just so much smoother. All right, well, so far it's doing pretty good. There's a little bit of smoke coming off the exhaust manifold, but That's just from oil that was spilled. All that'll burn off. So far it's running pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and put it into high gear. We are gonna take it a little bit easy at first though. I'm not sure what just happened.
I think it's low on gas.
I'm really sad right now. Well guys, we got pretty close. It ran really good and then it just stopped. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day on the Ranger because I don't know right now. I'm not sure what happened. So I think our next step is gonna be an upgraded chain tensioner for all of this stuff because I think it was having some issues. Sometimes the chain was feeling a little bit loose. And from what I've been reading, it's a pretty common problem. So anyways, my excitement was short-lived, but it is what it is. We are closer to having it back together, but at least I accomplished my goal of getting it out of the shop. So now I can clean that bay and we can pull the Peterbilt in there because we're gonna be talking a lot about that thing in the next video. It's going up for sale, guys. I'm gonna be detailing it. We're gonna be getting it ready to go and we are going full steam on the ranch, and the Peterbilt just does not fit those plans anymore. So kind of a sad day, but we will be talking about some of the reasons why I decided to do that and a bunch of other stuff as well. So thank you guys for watching. If you do me a huge solid like, subscribe, share this video to amigos, hit that notification button down below so you guys can continue to see progress on the ranch and everything else we got going on out here, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.